On our attention then to the personal finance segment. Harshvardhan Roongta is our expert for the day, and the question for him today is, Harsh, which is the best way to go about target-based savings, and how can investors benefit from value cost averaging versus rupee cost averaging? And first, if you could just explain the concept between the two.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I just wanted to butt in. I thought all these difficult words like value, cost and averaging come only in equities. For the first time in personal finance, we are being bombarded with jargon. So what is the difference between the two, Harsh?
Let me just begin by giving two methods which are available for investors who want to create long-term wealth by not timing the market. So first is the SIP method, wherein an investor decides a fixed sum of money that he wants to invest every month. So he chooses an amount, say 5,000 rupees, he wants to invest every month, as he does not want to time the market, and he goes about doing this for a long period of time. So ineffectively, he is averaging out his investments, which is called rupee cost averaging.
Okay.
Now, what happens in this situation is that he invests every month. He gets a particular rate of return that asset class is going to give him, and he accumulates a corpus at the end of that period. Now, when we go for financial planning, we target an amount that we want to achieve after a particular amount of time. Now, in that exercise, what do is we discount the target that we want to achieve with a particular rate of return. Say equities give 14% return. So we discount it with 14% and ascertain an amount that a person needs to invest every month. Now, the biggest concern in this kind of a situation is only that if he does not get 14% as assumed, then what happens to the targeted amount? He will certainly not accumulate it, and then certainly his goal is going to be jeopardized. So there is another method which is a little more, I would say advanced in terms of comparison with SIP, and that is a value cost averaging. Now, in a value cost averaging, what you simply do is, let me explain this with an example. Now, if a person say wants to accumulate about 10 lakhs of rupees over 15 years of time, and he needs that 10 lakhs for sure, he cannot compromise on accumulating 10 lakhs of rupees. So what he could do is, for understanding purposes, he just divides that 10 lakhs with 15 years, which is about 5,500 rupees per month. Okay, just for understanding purposes, we're leaving the returns calculation, all that apart. Now he starts investing by 5,500 rupees a month. So over a 1 year period, he's invested about 66,000 rupees. Now at the end of 1 year, he evaluates his portfolio. He sees that the fund, say suppose the markets have been in the negative. So his fund value is 60,000 as against the 66,000 that he's invested. So he pumps in that one lump sum, he puts in and he makes good the deficit, or what the market has given negative returns. So he puts in 6,000 rupees at that time. At the end of 2 years, where his contribution has been 1,32,000, the market has supposedly done well, and his fund value in that case, in the end of second year, is say 1,50,000 rupees. So in the third year, he will actually invest 18,000 rupees less, because his fund is actually appreciated to that extent, or he will withdraw 18,000 rupees. And the third year onwards, he continues to do so. Now, what happens with this exercise is that he is sure that at the end of 10 years, or rather at the end of 15 years, he will accumulate 10 lakhs of rupees, irrespective of whatever returns that he has generated over the next 15 years. The second advantage is that this kind of a system actually is known to give better returns over longer period of time, say about to the extent of about 100 or 200 basis points. So the advantage in this particular system is just that he makes sure that he gets his accumulated corpus. Now, when I say this, I do not undermine the benefits of SIP. Now, both the systems of investing are good. It's just if an investor is a little more savvy, he could probably use the value cost averaging method and accumulate his target and also get that little alpha on his portfolio.
Fair enough. It also requires a lot of time and care to monitor your investments so carefully. We'll take a break. On that note, we have plenty of viewers with questions on these and other issues. We are back. Welcome back to Markets and Macros. The markets have been extremely rangy, just about where they finished off yesterday, just a 20-point range. We've been discussing personal finance. Harshvardhan Roongta has been speaking about the difference between value-based investing and rupee cost averaging. Sorry, value-based averaging and rupee cost averaging. Basically to try and check out how you attain a particular target that you have in mind 10 years from now or 15 years from now. On that lines, we have a person asking a question. Prem Kumar Gupta from Gwalior joins us. Prem Kumar ji, go ahead. What is your question?
Yeah, my son Vishal is almost 2 years old. I start investing for his higher education from now itself. I estimate that I would require around 25 lakh rupees in the next 20 years' time.
Okay.
I would like to know what should be my ideal investment amount per month and where should I put this money?
All right. Harsh, very clearly worded question. Maybe you should also begin by wondering whether 25 lakh would be enough. What should be the inflation rate that we should factor in for education as well?
Well, Lata, you're right about, whenever you plan for any financial goal, you need to keep inflation in mind. So, but coming in for education purposes, there is a huge difference, or rather there is a wide range. A person could get quality education even at 10 lakh of rupees and would land up spending 2 crores of rupees and still not get quality education. So, if Mr. Gupta has decided 25 lakhs, I would say fair enough to begin with for educational purposes. And perhaps he could review this goal going over the period of time. In the next 5 years, he could probably try and review the cost that he will incur. Now, coming back to his question, Mr. Gupta, what I would suggest to you, since you have a longer time period, time period to your side, you should consider creating an equity-heavy portfolio. So, I could suggest a scheme to you, HDFC Children's Gift Fund Investment Plan. This scheme is specifically targeted at creating corpus for educational and marriages purposes of the kids. Now, this fund invests about 75% into equities and 25% into debt. Now, if I have to suggest to you, if you're using a value cost averaging method, you would need to start investing about 10,500 rupees a month. And as your portfolio value increases over time, this contribution will reduce, assuming that your equity fund will perform better. Now, in this, another advantage is that you will actually be buying low and selling high, which is the mantra of investing into equities. In case you're not comfortable with the value cost averaging method and do not want to monitor your portfolio regularly, the regular SIP method you could use. And in this, if you assume a 14% return on equities, your monthly investment would be about 2,000 rupees, which you will have to maintain for the next 20 years. Then you will accumulate about 25 lakh rupees. Now, whatever method you are comfortable with, your cash flows permit you, I would suggest that choose that method. Both methods are equally good. It's just how you would probably want to manage and monitor the portfolio. That choice is left to you completely.
Okay, but you have advised only one fund. Would there be any other funds? You spoke about the HDFC Children's Gilt Fund. Just a doubt, it's a gilt fund, but it is 75% into equities?
No, it's actually HDFC Children's Gift Fund.
Okay, gift.
Investment plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is 75% equity and 25% into debt. They have another option in the same fund, which is a savings fund, which is more on the debt side. So it is 60-40 ratio. Okay. But since he's got 20 years time horizon, I was suggesting a little more aggressive equity heavy portfolio.
Fair enough. Prem Kumar ji, that's the advice for you. Harsh, thanks a lot for joining us.